The door creaked open like a thunderclap in the storm outside, ripping me from the feverish tangle of Riley's arms, our breaths mingling hot and desperate against the fogged glass of my Seattle high-rise window. Rain lashed the city below, mirroring the chaos exploding in my chest as I whipped around to face the intruder. My little brother Jordan, his soaked hoodie clinging to his frame, eyes wide as saucers in the dim lamplight. In that frozen heartbeat, I saw not rage or disgust, but something softer, shattering. A mirror of my own hidden fractures, and it hit me harder than any coming-out speech I'd ever rehearsed in the mirror. I was 25, scraping by as a graphic designer in the Emerald City's relentless grind, where coffee shops buzzed with hipsters nursing lattes and dreams, and the Space Needle pierced the perpetual gray skies like a defiant middle finger to the drizzle. Our family had uprooted from the dusty suburbs of Spokane when Dad got that promotion at Boeing. Mom's idea of a fresh start after the divorce that left us all orbiting separate suns. She'd remarried some accountant named Greg in Tacoma, but Jordan and I, we were the odd planets, pulled back to each other by invisible gravity. He was 18 now, fresh out of high school, crashing at my cramped Capitol Hill apartment while he figured out community college or whatever wild whim struck him next. Big bro's got the couch, I joked when he showed up last month with a duffel bag and that lopsided grin, the one that always made me forget he wasn't the scrawny kid chasing me around the backyard anymore. But secrets have a way of festering in small spaces, like the mold creeping up the walls of my one-bedroom rental. I'd been out to Mom since college, tearful phone call from my dorm at UW, her voice cracking with that forced optimism. As long as you're happy, Alex. Dad? Radio silence, as usual. Jordan knew the basics, or so I thought. The casual mentions of dates that evaporated into vague excuses, the rainbow sticker on my laptop he pretended not to notice. He was my shadow growing up, the kid who'd blast indie rock from his room to drown out Mom's arguments with Dad, the one who'd high-five me after my first awkward prom kiss with a girl I never called back. Straight as an arrow, I figured girls giggling in his Snapchat stories, that easy charm with the cheerleaders back home. Me? I'd buried my truth deeper than the Cascade foothills, until Riley. We met at a queer art crawl in Fremont. He was the tattooed barista slinging IPAs at a pop-up gallery, his laugh cutting through the throng like sunlight through fog. 24, half Filipino with ink snaking up his forearms, waves crashing into cherry blossoms, and eyes that locked on mine like we'd been waiting lifetimes. You design logos or logos that design you? He teased, nodding at my sketchbook. 3 weeks later, we were inseparable. Stolen hikes in Discovery Park, where he'd trace my palm under the evergreens, whispering how my freckles mapped constellations he wanted to explore. Our first night together was electric, bodies colliding on my thrift store sheets, the city humming approval beyond the fire escape. But Jordan's arrival threw a wrench in it all. Keep it PG, bro, I'd warned Riley with a wink, shoving our passion into late-night whispers when Jordan crashed early. Lies by omission, stacking like bricks around my heart. That night, the storm had rolled in fierce off the sound, winds howling like banshees as I paced the living room, Riley's text burning in my pocket. Stuck at the cafe. Rain's biblical. Coming soon? Jordan was out, grabbing burgers with some friends, he'd mumbled, avoiding my eyes lately, like he carried his own storm clouds. I poured a whiskey neat, the burn steadying my nerves. Work had been hell. Client ghosting on a rebrand, bills piling like autumn leaves, and Riley was my anchor, the one who made the chaos bearable. When his key turned in the lock an hour early, soaked and grinning, apology tumbling from his lips, I didn't think, just pulled him close, our kiss igniting like dry tinder. We stumbled against the window, his hands fisting my shirt, mine tangling in his damp hair, the world narrowing to the salt of his skin, the urgency of unspoken fears. Missed you, he murmured against my throat, and I believed it, in that suspended moment before reality crashed in. The door, I'd forgotten to lock it, idiot that I was. Jordan's silhouette, backlit by the hallway fluorescence, his backpack thudding to the floor in slow motion. Time fractured. Riley's gasp, my spine stiffening like rebar, the rain's roar mocking us all. Jordan, my voice cracked, a plea and a curse, as I shoved Riley behind me, shielding him like he was the fragile one. Riley's hand gripped my waist, steady but trembling, his breath hot on my neck. Jordan's face. God, that face I'd memorized from scraped knees and science fair disasters. Twisted in the shadows, not revulsion, but something rawer, like he'd been gut-punched. His lips parted. No words, just a sharp inhale that echoed my own panic. Seconds stretched to eternities. I braced for the slam, the accusations, the brotherly bond I cherished splintering under the weight of my truth. But he didn't yell, didn't bolt. Instead, his eyes, those damn blue pools that mirrored Mom's, flicked from me to Riley, then back, softening in a way that pierced deeper than scorn ever could. I didn't mean to. He swallowed hard, fists clenching at his sides, rain dripping from his hood onto the hardwood like accusatory tears. It's okay, Alex. Really. The words hung there, fragile as spun glass, and in them, I glimpsed not judgment, but a reflection of battles I never knew he fought. My little brother, the golden boy, unraveling before me. The room spun, the storm outside paling against the one brewing in our shared silence, and I realized with a jolt that the act he'd caught wasn't just mine. It was the key to unlocking us both. That okay lingered like smoke after a fire, curling through the awkward shuffle that followed. Riley, ever the diplomat, grabbed a towel from the bathroom, draping it over Jordan's shoulders with a murmured, "Rough night out there?" His voice steady, but I caught the flicker of hurt in his eyes, the vulnerability of being exposed. Jordan nodded mutely, peeling off his hoodie to reveal a faded band tee clinging to his lean frame, water pooling at his feet. I stood there, shirt half untucked, heart hammering a staccato rhythm against my ribs, every instinct screaming to fill the void with excuses, apologies, anything to bridge the chasm. "Jordan, listen." I started, but he cut me off with a raised hand, his gaze steady now, almost too steady, like he'd rehearsed this in some hidden corner of his mind. "No, Alex, don't." He stepped closer, the scent of street rain and fast food mingling with the faint vanilla of Riley's cologne. Up close, I saw the shadows under his eyes, the faint stubble he'd been experimenting with since turning 18, signs of a boy becoming man faster than I'd allowed. "I get it, more than you think." The confession landed soft, but it detonated something in me, a seismic shift that made the floor tilt. Get it? My straight-laced brother, who'd blushed at my coming-out story 2 years back over Thanksgiving turkey, claiming it was cool, whatever floats your boat? Riley sensed the undercurrent, excusing himself to the kitchen with a squeeze of my hand. "Tea? Anyone?" Leaving us in the charged bubble of brotherhood. Jordan sank onto the couch, elbows on knees, staring at the frayed rug like it held the universe's secrets. I joined him, the cushions dipping under our weight, the familiarity of it all, movie nights with popcorn wars, confessions whispered past midnight, clashing violently with the elephant in the room. "What do you mean, you get it?" I pressed, voice low, laced with the fear that had shadowed me since puberty's cruel awakenings. The city lights twinkled mockingly through the streaks on the window, Seattle's pulse indifferent to our unraveling. He rubbed his jaw, a gesture so like Dad's it twisted the knife. "I've been figuring stuff out for a while." Pause heavy as lead. "Guys, not just girls." The words tumbled out, halting but honest, and the world, my world, inverted. Jordan, with his easy smiles and locker room bravado, hiding the same storm? Flashes hit me. The way he dodged family barbecues, the late nights scrolling on his phone with the screen angled away, the friends from school he'd mention in vague, guarded tones. "Why didn't you say anything?" My throat tightened, guilt flooding in. I'd been so wrapped in my own closet, I'd built walls around him too. He shrugged, a ghost of his old grin flickering. "Figured you'd think I was copying you or something. Little bro syndrome." But his eyes betrayed the lie, pain, deep and etched, from years of silence in a town where fag was casual currency, where church sermons painted rainbows as sins. Riley returned then, mugs steaming, diffusing the intensity with his quiet grace. We sipped in companionable quiet, the rain easing to a patter, and as Jordan stole glances at Riley, not with jealousy but curiosity, warmth, I felt the first thaw. That night, as he crashed in the spare room and Riley curled against me, whispering, "He's stronger than you know," I lay awake, staring at the ceiling cracks like fault lines. My little brother hadn't just caught me. He'd revealed himself, cracking open a vista of shared vulnerability I'd never imagined. And in that revelation, the fear began to fade, replaced by a fierce, protective love that redefined us both. But dawn brought no easy resolutions. Jordan was up early, rummaging in the kitchen like nothing had shattered the night before. Eggs sizzling, coffee brewing strong and black, the domestic ritual we'd inherited from Mom. I shuffled in, Riley still dozing, my head pounding from half-slept what-ifs. "Morning, drama king," Jordan quipped, sliding a plate my way, but his eyes held a question, unspoken. "Now what?" We talked then, halting at first over the clink of forks, about the boy in his AP Lit class who'd sent mixed signals last semester, the app hookups he'd ghosted out of terror, the gnawing ache of loving in secret. "It's like you're screaming inside, but the world's got earplugs," he said, voice cracking on the last word. I shared too, the college hookups that left me hollow, the ex who bailed when family pressure hit, Riley as the first who'd stayed. Laughter crept in, brittle but real, at the absurdity of it all. Two Thompson boys, gay as the day is long, fumbling through the same minefield. Riley joined mid-meal, his presence a balm, easy banter about Seattle's best faux spots, plans for a hike up Rattlesnake Ledge to clear the air. By noon, the apartment felt less like a confessional and more like home, sunlight slanting through the blinds in golden shafts. But as we laced up boots for the trail, Jordan's phone buzzed. A text from Mom. Checking in. Everything good with you boys? His face fell, the mask slipping back. She doesn't know. About me. The drive to the trailhead was thick with that weight. Evergreens blurring past the windshield. The Olympics looming like silent judges. Riley drove, his hand on my knee a quiet anchor, while Jordan stared out at the sound, fingers drumming the armrest. What if she freaks? He muttered, more to himself. Dad already barely talks to you. The word stung. Dad's post-coming out chill, holiday cards signed only by Mom, but they fueled the fire in me. Then we face it together. Like always. Parked at the lot, we hit the trail, the switchback steep and unforgiving, mirroring the climb ahead. Sweat beaded, breaths ragged, but the views, cascades unfolding in verdant waves, reminded me of resilience, of roots digging deep. Halfway up, at a rocky outcrop, Jordan halted, chest heaving. Alex, thanks for not making it weird. His grin was genuine now, eyes bright with unshed emotion. Riley clapped his shoulder. Family's what you build, man. And in that moment, overlooking the valley, I saw him. Not the kid brother I'd protected, but a peer, forged in the same fire. The descent was lighter, plans spilling. A pride flag for the balcony, a call to Mom scripted together. But life, that cruel curator, had more twists in store. That evening, back in the city, the buzz of First Thursday Art Walk called. Riley's idea to celebrate our uncloseting. Streets thronged with performers, galleries spilling light and laughter onto the pavement. Jordan dove in, wide-eyed at the drag queens lip-syncing under neon, the queer families hand in hand. This is normal? He whispered, awe threading his voice. I nodded, arm around Riley, the four-letter word, love, pulsing unspoken between us. We wandered into a pop-up exhibit on hidden histories, photos of Stonewall rioters, love letters smuggled from internment camps, and Jordan lingered at a portrait of two brothers, arms linked at a 70s march. Like us, he said softly, and my throat closed. Riley bought us matching enamel pins, tiny rainbows etched with brothers in arms, and as we pinned them on, the weight lifted further. But home brought the reckoning. Mom's text evolved to a call, her voice tinny through the speaker. Jordan sounds off. Everything all right? We exchanged glances, Riley nodding encouragement, and Jordan took the phone, voice steady. Mom, I need to tell you something. The words poured. The confusion, the fear, the quiet joy of Riley's kitchen that morning. Silence stretched, then her sob, not rejection but release. Oh honey, I'm so proud. Alex, you knew. I jumped in, the three of us a chorus. We've got each other's backs. Laughter followed her tears. Plans for a visit. Dad's inevitable awkwardness a footnote. Hanging up, Jordan hooped, bear hugging me till ribs creaked. Riley joining the pylon. In that tangle of limbs and joy I glimpsed forever. Not the act that started it, but the reaction that sealed it. Yet shadows lingered. Weeks blurred into routine. Jordan acing his first community college sketches, inspired by our art nights. Riley and I deepening, lazy Sundays in bed with the fairy horns as lullabies. But Jordan's figuring out hit bumps. A crush on a barista who flirted back then faded. Texts from spoken friends laced with jokes that cut. One night, after a ghosting, he slammed into the apartment, eyes red. Why's it so hard? We sat on the fire escape, city sprawl below, passing a joint. His first, coughing laughs turning to truths. You're brave, Alex. With Riley, with everything. But bravery felt borrowed. I'd leaned on Riley's steadiness, his way of turning vulnerability to strength. It's not solo, I said. It's us. All of us. The turning point came unbidden. A weekend trip to Olympic National Park. Riley's gift for Jordan's 19th birthday. Cabins by Lake Crescent, bonfires crackling under star-pricked skies. We hiked Hurricane Ridge, winds whipping, and at the summit, Jordan confessed the core. I thought if I was like you, it'd make Dad hate me more. The vulnerability cracked me open. Dad's absence a ghost haunting us both. Riley, sensing the rift, shared his own. Disowned whispers from a conservative aunt, the tattoo as reclamation. Around the fire that night, marshmallows toasting, stories wove us tighter. Not just survival, but thriving. Jordan met eyes with a fellow hiker at the lodge, A shy exchange of numbers, his first tentative step. Back in Seattle, the change crystallized. Jordan's sketches bloomed with color. Portraits of us three, intertwined like roots. He came out to Dad via letter, no reply, but closure in the sending. And me? I saw him anew. Not the little brother to shield, but the equal who'd caught my fall, turning exposure to elevation. Our story didn't end in fireworks, but quiet revolutions. Pride parades hand in hand. Mom's tearful hug at Christmas. Riley's proposal under the needle's glow 6 months later. Jordan stood as best man, his toast. To acts that reveal, reactions that heal. In his eyes, I saw the boy I'd raised. The man he'd become, mirror, ally, forever changed. And in that, love's true plot twist. Not the catching, but the holding on. The months following that rainy revelation unfolded like a Polaroid developing in slow motion. Sharp edges softening into something achingly beautiful, yet laced with the inevitable thorns of growth. Jordan threw himself into life with the fervor of someone tasting freedom for the first time. His once guarded smiles now blooming freely across the coffee-stained tables of our apartment. He'd drag us to queer open mics at the Rendezvous, where poets spilled verses of longing and loss, his applause the loudest, eyes gleaming with a mix of envy and inspiration. "That's gonna be me someday," he'd declare, scribbling lyrics in the margins of his sketchpad. The city lights reflecting off the pages like distant stars aligning. Riley and I, meanwhile, navigated the deeper waters of commitment. Not the glossy rom-com version, but the real, gritty kind where compromises tasted like sacrifice. He wanted to move in fully, boxes of his vintage vinyls cluttering the hall, but I hesitated, the echo of Dad's abandonment whispering doubts. Don't burden them. One evening, as autumn leaves skittered across Capitol Hill sidewalks, we argued over it, voices rising above the hum of a street busker's guitar. "I'm not a phase, Alex," Riley snapped, his dark eyes flashing hurt. "And neither is this." Jordan, home from a late class, diffused it with takeout pad thai and brutal honesty. "You two are idiots. Love's not a solo hike." His words, delivered with that newfound wisdom, pulled me back from the edge, and by week's end, Riley's toothbrush joined mine in the holder. A small victory, monumental in its quietude. But Jordan's path wasn't all upward trails. Winter gripped Seattle in its iron fist, gray days bleeding into longer nights, and with them came the specters he'd buried. A call from Spokane, an old friend, voice slurred with beer and bigotry. "Heard you're one of them now? Freak." The line went dead, but the wound festered. I found him on the balcony one sleet-lashed night, staring at the black expanse of the Sound, a half-empty bottle of cheap bourbon at his elbow. His first real drink, stolen from my cabinet. "Talk to me?" I said, settling beside him, the cold metal railing biting through my sweater. He didn't pull away when I draped an arm around his shoulders, the gesture brotherly, protective, but equal now. "It's stupid," he muttered, breath fogging the air. "Just missing home. But home misses the old me." The confession cracked open floodgates. Tales of high school crushes silenced by fear. The pastor's son who'd kissed him behind the bleachers then prayed it away. The gnawing isolation of loving in a vacuum. Tears froze on his cheeks, and I held him as sobs racked his frame. The little brother facade shattered irreparably. Riley joined us later, blankets and hot cocoa in tow, turning vigil into vigilante therapy. Screw home if it can't handle you. Build a new one. From that rawness sprang resilience. Jordan channeled it into art. A series of charcoal drawings, brothers entwined in storms, lovers silhouetted against judgmental skies. He submitted to a local gallery show, nerves jangling like loose change, and when acceptance came, queer visions, emerging voices. We celebrated with rooftop karaoke, his rendition of Defying Gravity, belted with such ferocity it drowned the fairy horns. The opening night was magic. Velvet ropes, clinking glasses, strangers murmuring approval at his pieces. A curator approached, card in hand. "Raw, real, let's talk residency." Jordan's grin split wide, and in the crowd, I caught Riley's eye, pride swelling not just for him, but for the mosaic we'd become. Yet family fractures don't heal overnight. Mom's visit in February tested us, her flight from Tacoma landing amid a rare blue sky day, arms laden with care packages of jerky and her famous lemon bars. She'd embraced Jordan's news with maternal grace, but seeing it live, the casual handhold between Riley and me at brunch, Jordan's rainbow lanyard swinging from his backpack, stirred undercurrents. Over Eggs Benedict at a Pike Place cafe, she probed gently, "You boys seem happy, but are you safe out there?" The question hung, laced with love and legacy. Her own divorce a cautionary tale of unspoken truths. Jordan fielded it first, voice steady. Safer than hiding, Mom. We shared stories then. Riley's tattoo is armor, my design portfolio's subtle queer icons. And her eyes misted, hands squeezing mine across the table. I wish I'd known sooner. To protect you both. The afternoon melted into a walk through the market. Salmon tossing in the air like acrobats. Flowers perfuming the chill. By ferry ride home, she'd met us halfway. Proud doesn't cover it. And as she boarded back to Tacoma, waving from the deck, I felt the bridge strengthening, plank by plank. Spring thawed more than the ground. Jordan's barista crush from open mic, a lanky artist named Kai, with piercings glinting like secrets, evolved from coffee refills to coffee dates. I watched their first awkward hangout in our living room, nerves electric as exposed wires. Shared playlists, laughter spiking over inside jokes I wasn't privy to. He's cute, Riley teased later, as Jordan dashed out for round 2. Think he'll stick. Jealousy flickered irrational. Not of the romance, but the youth of it, the unscarred potential. As long as he treats him right, I replied, but inside, the big brother sentinel stirred. Trouble brewed subtly. Kai's ex, a brooding type from the local scene, started lurking. Likes on old posts, accidental run-ins at shows. Jordan brushed it off. Water under the bridge, but I saw the tension in his sketches. Lines harsher, shadows deeper. One night, post a gig where Kai performed spoken word on lost loves. The ex cornered Jordan outside. Words escalating to shoves. Slurs hissed like venom. Kai pulled him off, but the damage landed. Jordan stormed home, lips split, eyes stormy. He called me a phase, like I'm playing at this. Rage boiled in me. Fists clenching, visions of confronting the asshole. But Riley's hand on my arm grounded. Let him lead. We iced the cut, brewed chamomile, and Jordan spilled. The fear of being the rebound. The echo of Dad's rejection in every doubt. What if I'm not enough? The question echoed my own early fears, and in answering, you're everything, kid, I healed a piece of us both. The confrontation came organically. Kai showed up the next day, flowers wilting in his grip, apology scripted but sincere. I should have shut it down sooner. They talked on the couch, us in the kitchen eavesdropping like proud chaperones, and when Kai left with a tentative kiss on the stoop, Jordan turned to us, grinned sheepish. Think I can keep up? Laughter sealed it, the apartment alive with possibility. As cherry blossoms dusted the streets, our trio, now quartet with Kai's occasional joins, wove tighter. Pride planning sessions turned epic. Float ideas scribbled on napkins, t-shirt designs from my laptop. Jordan's evolution shone. From shadowed boy to spotlight seeker, his reaction to my act, the catalyst. But deeper still, it reshaped me. Seeing him flourish mirrored my own roots strengthening. Riley's love the soil, family the sun. Yet summer loomed, promising heat and harder tests. Dad's annual fishing invite, a potential minefield. As we prepped, I realized, the real forever wasn't perfection, but persistence, one caught breath at a time. Summer in Seattle is a tease, fleeting bursts of sun between the reliable veil of clouds. But that year, it burned brighter, mirroring the fire we'd kindled within. Jordan and Kai's romance hit its stride like a well-oiled bike chain, zipping through the city on borrowed tandem rentals, laughter trailing like exhaust. I'd spot them from my balcony. Kai's wild curls windswept, Jordan's arms slung casual around his waist, and feel a pang, not envy, but profound gratitude for the normalcy he'd claimed. They're disgustingly adorable, Riley would murmur, nuzzling my neck as we watched, his warmth chasing away the last chill of winter's doubts. Work ramped up for me. A freelance gig designing for a queer nonprofit, logos that screamed visibility without shouting. Late nights at the drafting table bled into dawn, Riley bringing midnight fuel. Bibinka from his family's recipe, sweet and sticky as our tangled sheets. Jordan contributed too, his sketches infusing the campaign with raw emotion. Figures breaking chains, hands linking across divides. For the brothers who come after, he'd say, charcoal smudged on his cheek, and I'd ruffle his hair, the gesture now laced with peer respect. But the dad specter loomed, his annual email pinging like a grenade. Fishing trip? Cabin on the lake. July 4th weekend. Bring the kid. No mention of Riley, of course. The man who'd fathered us now treated my life like a footnote. Jordan agonized over it, pacing the living room like a caged panther. What if he asks about Kai? Or you? Kai. Bless him, advocated Grace. Go. Show him the men you've become. Riley echoed it, but his jaw tightened, protective always. We decided tandem, Jordan and I road tripping up to the Cascades, Riley holding the fort with a promise of fireworks upon return. The drive north was nostalgia-laced. FM radio crooning 90s alt-rock. The same playlist from our teen years, pines blurring into a green haze. Jordan fiddled with the dial, voice tentative. You think he'll notice? The change. I gripped the wheel tighter. He'll have to. We're not hiding anymore. The cabin squatted by the lake like a forgotten relic. Weathered logs, dock creaking under bass boats. The air thick with pine and possibility. Dad waited on the porch, fishing vest bulging. His salt and pepper beard trimmed, but eyes the same wary blue as Jordan's. Hugs were stiff, back slaps more than embraces, but his grin at Jordan's duffel. Grown like a weed, son. Me? A nod? Alex. The word flat, loaded. Days blurred into ritual. Dawn casts into glassy water, lines slicing silence, trout tugging like reluctant truths. Dad's stories flowed easy, bowing anecdotes, golf mishaps, but skirted the personal, the painful. Evening fires crackled with esmores and sidelong glances. Jordan's rainbow pin glinting defiant in the firelight. It was he who cracked the ice, casual as reeling in a catch. Met someone, Dad. Kai. Artist. Makes me laugh till it hurts. Dad's pole stilled, water lapping the boat's hull. That so? Neutral, probing. Jordan pressed, voice steady. Yeah, and Alex has Riley. Solid guy. We're good. The air thickened, embers popping like punctuation. I braced, heart thudding, but Dad just nodded slow, staring into the flames. Long as you're happy, that's all a father wants. The words landed soft, revolutionary. Not effusive, but earnest. A bridge extended across the chasm. Relief washed over us like the lake's morning mist. We fished till dusk, Dad even cracking a joke about city boys and their fancy pins. The tea's light, probing no deeper. On the dock that last night, stars wheeling overhead, he pulled me aside. Heard about you. From your mom. Wish I'd handled it better. Apology hung unspoken, but his clap on my shoulder carried weight. Proud, Alex. Both of you. Tears pricked. Not from absolution, but acknowledgement. And as we drove south, Jordan whooping to the radio, I exhaled years of held breath. Homecoming was fireworks literal and figurative. Riley and Kai waiting with a backyard bash. Strings of bulbs, grills smoking with adobo skewers, neighbors spilling onto the lawn. Jordan regaled them with tales, embellished for drama, while Riley pulled me into the shadows, kiss fierce. Missed my fisherman. The night pulsed with joy. Dances on the grass, toasts to mended nets, but midway, a shadow crossed Jordan's face. Kai's phone buzzed insistent. He stepped away, voice low, returning pale. X again, showing up at my place. The party faltered, concern rippling. We piled into cabs, solidarity squad. Arriving at Kai's Fremont walk-up to find the ex pounding the door, drunk and demanding. You think you can just... Slurs flew, fists clenched, but Jordan surged forward, voice thunder. Back off. He's moved on. The ex lunged, but Riley and I flanked. A wall of calm fury. Cops called, statements taken, the night dissolving into fluorescent hell. After, in the quiet of our apartment, Kai crashed on the couch, Jordan curling beside him. Protective, tender. You were badass, Kai whispered, and Jordan's blush was visible even in lamplight. But as we cleaned up, Jordan confessed to me in the kitchen. Scared me. What if that's always waiting? Fear, the old foe rearing. We countered with action. Self-defense class sign-ups, therapy referrals, not just survival but sovereignty. Kai's ex got a restraining order, the incident a scar but not a shackle. Through it, Jordan and Kai deepened. Poetry readings turning intimate. Shared canvases blooming with mutual muses. Watching them sketch by the window, hands brushing, I saw echoes of Riley and me. Love as collaboration. Labor Day brought a breather. Beach trip to Alki, sandcastles and sunset volleyball. The Olympics a purple promise on the horizon. Jordan spiked the ball with glee, Kai cheering, our laughter mingling with waves. But as dusk painted the sky in fire, Jordan pulled me to the water's edge. Dad's call yesterday? He wants to meet Kai. Thinks we're serious. Shock yielded to joy, progress, glacial but glorious. Riley joined, arms around us both, families expanding, and as stars pricked the velvet dome, I realized the act that started our shift had rippled outward. Not just brothers, but a constellation, each light defying the dark. Summer waned, but our warmth endured, promising autumn's harvest of hearts laid bare. Autumn draped Seattle in amber and rust, leaves crunching underfoot like whispered secrets, as our lives settled into a rhythm both exhilarating and exacting. Jordan's gallery residency kicked off with a bang. A studio in Pioneer Square, walls papered with his evolving visions. fractured mirrors reflecting intertwined souls, colors bleeding from pain to palette. Kai became a fixture there, their collaborations electric. He reciting verses while Jordan captured the cadence in swift strokes. I dropped by after deadlines, bearing flat whites from the corner roastery, marveling at the alchemy. Two young hearts forging art from adversity. Riley's cafe expanded, a second location in Ballard, and our evenings blurred into strategy sessions over takeout. Floor plans sketched on napkins, dreams debated till the witching hour. You're my secret weapon, he'd say, kissing my temple, but I saw the strain. Early mornings, investor pitches that left him drained. One night, post a grueling meet, he collapsed on the couch, head in my lap. Ever feel like you're running to stand still? Vulnerability, rare for him, pulled truths from me. The freelance dry spell looming, the itch to launch my own studio. Jordan, overhearing from his room, poked his head in. Then do it. We've got your back. Literally, his grin, infectious, sparked the seed. But Jordan's light flickered too. Midterms loomed at Seattle Central, his psych classes delving into identity's labyrinth. Essays on internalized homophobia hitting too close. Professor says it's like a virus. He vented over dinner, fork-stabbing pasta. You catch it from the world, fight it from within. Kai nodded, but tension simmered. Their dates grew sporadic, his ex's shadow lingering like bad graffiti. One evening, Jordan returned hollow-eyed, slamming the door. Kai canceled. Again. Work. Bull. We coaxed it out. Tea steaming, Riley's arm around my shoulders a steady anchor. Talked to his roommate. Ex showed up at the studio. Kai didn't want drama spilling over. Hurt flashed in Jordan's eyes, raw as an open wound. Am I just collateral? The question echoed our shared fears. Love's fragility in a world quick to shatter it. I shared a memory then, unbidden. My first boyfriend post-college, the one who bailed after Dad's frosty call. It guts you, but it doesn't define you. Riley added his layer. Kai's scared. Doesn't mean he doesn't care. We rallied. A plan hatched over midnight ice cream. Gentle confrontation, boundaries drawn like battle lines. Jordan confronted Kai the next day at the studio, us waiting in the cafe across the street like anxious sentinels. An hour ticked by, agonizing, till they emerged, hands clasped, faces tear-streaked but soft. We're good, Jordan texted, emoji heart exploding. Over beers that night, Kai spilled. The ex's threats escalating. Therapy started to unpack the mess. I pushed you away to protect us. Stupid. Forgiveness flowed easy, laced with resolve. Joint sessions booked, a pact to face storms side by side. Emboldened, Jordan dove deeper into his work. His residency show, Reflections Refracted, drew crowds, critics praising the visceral brotherhood in his pieces. One a diptych of us. Caught mid-laugh, mid-embrace, light-piercing shadows. Opening night buzzed, wine flowing, flashes popping. And as Jordan mingled, Kai at his elbow, I swelled with pride. Mom flew in, Greg in tow, her gasp at the art. It's you, all of you. Dad even Skyped from Spokane. Gruff but genuine. Looks good, son. Real good. My own leap followed. With Riley's nudge. Portfolio's killer. Go big. I pitched my studio idea to the nonprofit, queer-focused branding with a social edge. The yes came swift, seed funding attached, and launch night at our apartment turned festive. Prototypes pinned to walls, toasts clinking till dawn. Jordan designed the logo, interlocking arcs, bold and unapologetic. Kai scripted the tagline. Visible, vital, yours. But Thanksgiving loomed, a gauntlet of gatherings. Mom's Tacoma spread first, turkey brining, pies cooling, Greg's awkward charm thawing under Jordan's barbs. Dad joined via video, the screen bridging miles. Missed the lake, boys. Toast skirted politics, landed on gratitude. For Riley's adobo twist on stuffing, Kai's pieced quilt as centerpiece. Laughter bridged gaps, but post-meal, Dad pulled Jordan aside virtually, that boy's good for you. Hold on. Progress pixelated but profound. The real test. Extended family dinner at Aunt Lena's in Bellevue. The conservative aunt who'd once mailed Pray the Gay Away pamphlets. Tensions simmered, her side eyes at our pins, passive digs over cranberry sauce. Jordan, emboldened, countered. Love's love, Aunt Lena. Pass the rolls. The table hushed, then chuckled, ice cracking. Riley's hand under the table steadied me. His whisper, your brother's a force. Winter's cusp brought magic. Holiday market strolls. Lights twinkling like conspirators. Jordan and Kai's first us gift exchange. Custom sketchbooks etched with inside jokes. Melted us. But as snow dusted the sound, a curveball. Kai's ex violated the order. arrested blocks from the studio. Court dates loomed, stress etching lines on Kai's face. Jordan rallied, testimonies prepped, support group joins, his strength a beacon. Through it, our bond fortified. One frosty night, post-hearing, dismissal, relief flooding. We four collapsed in the apartment, cocoa steaming. Jordan raised his mug. To reactions that rewrite us. Eyes met, stories shared, not just survival but sovereignty claimed. As embers died, I saw the arc. From caught act to crafted legacy. My little brother the co-author of our ever-unfolding tale. Winter's grip tightened, blanketing Seattle in a hush of frost and fog. But within our walls, warmth proliferated like unchecked ivy. Jordan's show toured locally. Pop-ups in Belltown lofts, whispers of a zine compilation. His name etching into the scene like frost on glass. Kai's poetry chapbook followed, verses laced with their shared lexicon. Storms we surfed together, readings drawing crowds that spilled onto sidewalks. I'd linger in the back, Riley's fingers laced with mine, marveling at Jordan's poise, the boy who'd once stuttered through book reports now commanding rooms with quiet fire. My studio, Art Collective, took root in a shared space near the canal, drafting tables scarred with history, windows framing houseboats bobbing serene. Clients trickled, a trans-led bakery needing rebrand, a youth center's event posters pulsing with hope. Late nights bled into collaborations, Jordan freelancing layouts, Riley sourcing eco-inks, our lives intertwining like the locks along the waterway. Family business, Jordan joked, but the truth hummed deeper, purpose woven from pain. Yet ripples from Kai's ex persisted, therapy unpacking trauma's tendrils, nightmares jolting him awake. Jordan held vigil, but strain showed, arguments over space, silences stretching like taffy. One blizzard-lashed evening, Kai stormed out post-spat, need air, leaving Jordan pacing, fists clenched. What if I'm too much? Like, the drama magnet. Riley and I exchanged glances, echoes of our early rose, and drew him to the kitchen table, cards on. Love's not vacuum sealed. It bends. Stories spilled. My panic after Dad's call, Riley's aunt's disownment. Kai returned hours later, snow-crusted, apology in his eyes. Panicked, old ghosts. They mended on the couch, our cue to retreat, but Jordan's grateful hug later. You guys, anchors. Spring's thaw mirrored renewal. Jordan's zine launched at a warehouse party. Strobe lights pulsing to electronica. Pages devoured by eager hands. A publisher scouted. Offer tentative. Expand it. National. Elation exploded. Champagne corks popping. Dances till feet ached. Mom visited for the launch, tears tracing her cheeks at the dedication. To brothers who see you, Dad mailed a check. For the art. His note clipped, keep creating. Riley's cafes thrived, but burnout loomed. We planned a getaway. San Juan Islands, ferries cutting misty straits. Jordan and Kai tagged along, cabins by the shore, kayaks slicing dawn waters. Days blurred. Hikes through Madrona groves, clams steaming over beach fires. One twilight, as Orcus breached distant, Jordan confided, therapy's helping. Kai too. We're building. His hand in Kai's, steady growth incarnate. Back home, my proposal to Riley brewed. Not grand but grounded. Hike to Cary Park, city sprawl at our feet, ring simple, silver band etched with waves. Forever, I asked, knees dirt smudged. His yes, tear bright. Always. Jordan walked in on the planning, whooping, best man duties. Kai grinned, I'll officiate the bachelor bash. But Joy's shadow, Dad's health scare, fall at the plant, hip cracked, hospital lights harsh. We flew east, Spokane's dry air a shock. Mom's vigil tear-streaked. Dad, pale in the bed. Fool move, slipped on ice. Humor masked fear, but his grip on Jordan's hand. Glad you're here, son. Me? A nod, deeper talks in the cafeteria. Regret the silence, Alex. Too late. Never, I said, and meant it, bridges not walls. Recovery brought visits. Dad hobbling to our video calls. Curiosity piqued. Show me that studio. Virtual tours thawed him further. He even asked about Riley. Good man. Jordan's update on Kai drew a chuckle. Sounds like trouble. Good kind. Progress piecemeal but precious. Pride swelled the city. Floats thundering down 4th Avenue. Rainbows riotous. We marched as a unit, Jordan and Kai arm in arm. Mom waving from the sidelines. Dad's text. Watch yourselves. Love you. The roar of cheers drowned doubts. Confetti raining like blessings. Post-parade. Rooftop afterparty. Toasts to visibility. Dances under strings of lights. Yet intimacy's tests persisted. Jordan and Kai's first big fight. Over Kai's touring poetry gig. Distance daunting. Don't want to hold you back, Jordan fretted. Mediation over brunch. Go, grow. We'll bridge the miles. Kai's compromise. Monthly visits. Love letters digitized. They parted tearful at the airport, but Jordan's resolve. It's right. Scary, but right. As summer beckoned again, reflections deepened. One eve on the balcony, city humming below, Jordan leaned on the rail. That night, catching you, best accident ever. Laughter mingled with wind. Changed everything. Riley joined, arms encircling. To acts of courage. In his eyes, our eyes, I saw the forever. Not flawless, but fiercely ours, reactions rippling into redemption. Summer's return was a symphony of sun and salt, the sound shimmering like liquid promise as our lives crested waves of change. Jordan's zine tour kicked off. Readings in Portland lofts, Vancouver cafes. Kai tagging for the leg, their harmony a quiet underscore to the applause. I'd get postcards, sketches of rainy streets, notes scrawled. Missed the chaos. Home soon. His absence hollowed the apartment, but filled it with purpose. Guest spots in my studio. Riley's cafe nights buzzing with his subs. My ARC collective flowered. Contracts with advocacy groups. Interns wide-eyed at our walls of wonder. Riley's expansion stabilized. His smile returning full force. We stole weekends. Cabin retreats in the Olympics, where trails whispered ancient secrets, and under canopy stars, we dream aloud. Wedding on the beach, vows exchanged with the tide as witness. Jordan's return brought tales and a glow. Tour hardened him, voice surer in readings. Kai's presence a talisman. But reintegration jarred. Classes resuming, ex's parole hearing looming. What if he circles back? Kai voiced the fear, and Jordan's reassurance. We've got shields now. Court day dawned gray. We packed the gallery. Testimonies layered like varnish. My account of the night, Riley's calm chronicle, friends attesting character. The judge's gavel. Extension granted, relief crashing like breakers. Emboldened, Jordan proposed to Kai. Not ring, but ritual. Beach bonfire at Golden Gardens. Words etched on driftwood. Our story, unbound. Kai's yes, whispered fierce, sealed with salt-kissed lips. Double proposals in 1 year, serendipity's wink. Planning ensued. Joint ceremony? Separate symphonies? Laughter over spreadsheets. Mom chiming in via Zoom. Make it yours. Dad's involvement surprised. Fly out for the wedding? If invited. Jordan's call back. Front row, pops. Rehab progressed. He walked unaided by fall, visits to Seattle tentative but tender. First dinner at our place. Riley's lumpia earning grunts of approval. Kai's poetry recital drawing nods. Deep stuff. Awkward silences yielded to stories. Dad's army days. Hidden vulnerabilities mirroring ours. Wish I'd shared sooner, he admitted over scotch. Glass clinking like truce. Forgiveness flowed, not effusive, but earned. A father's thaw. Harvest moon lit autumn's canvas. Leaves aflame as wedding prep intensified. Venue hunt. Rooftop overlooking the needle, strings of lights like constellations. Suits tailored, Jordan's slim cut, emerald tie. Mine navy, Riley's pocket square monogrammed. Vows workshopped late nights. Jordan's poetic, Kai's raw. Ours narrative, threading our caught moment origin. But life's undercurrent tugged. Riley's cafe hit a snag, health inspection snag. Minor but morale mangling. Stress creased his brow, snaps shortening tempers. One eve, post-closure scare, he lashed. Can't keep juggling. I absorbed, then countered. We're a team. Delegate. Jordan, sensing, organized a reset. Group hike to Beacon Hill, views sprawling, breaths sinking on the climb. At the crest, Riley exhaled. Sorry, overwhelmed. Hugs cascaded, bonds reaffirmed. Jordan's senior project bloomed, thesis on queer kinship in art, our stories anonymized but woven. Defense day, panel probing, his poise unyielding, thesis lauded, a vital archive. Graduation followed, caps airborne, mom's cheers loudest, dad's presence solid. Handshake to hug, diploma in hand, Jordan quipped. Now what, big bro? Postgrad glow faded into job hunts. Gallery curator gig in the wings, but rejection stung. Kai's tour expanded East Coast dates, miles testing metal. Late night calls bridged. Miss your laugh. One rift. Jealousy flare over a flirty fan. Words weaponized. Jordan vented to me. Am I paranoid? Wisdom shared. Trust's a muscle. Flex it. Resolution came in letters. Kai's verses mailed. Jordan's sketches replied. Distance distilling devotion. Reunion at Seattle Tacoma. Embrace airport long, homeward cab thick with plans. Winter solstice brought weddings eve, rehearsal dinner at the cafe, toasts heartfelt, moms, to loves that endure, dads to new beginnings. Nerves jittered, but dawn broke golden. Ceremony atop the roof. Officiant Kai's prof, vows exchanged as gulls wheeled. Jordan's, you caught my chaos, held the frame. Kai's, we paint unbound. Rings slid, kisses sealed, cheers erupted. Our turn. Riley's, from act to always, mine reaction to revelation. Unity candle lit, shared flame. Reception swirled. Dances wild, cake decadent. Dad twirling mom, Jordan and Kai stealing starry moments. Honeymoon staggered. Us to Hawaii, them to the vineyard. Return unified us further, shared albums, inside jokes compounding. Jordan's job offer landed. Assistant curator, NYCTs, but stay west. Roots here. A snowmelt hinted spring, reflections crystallized. One dawn walk along the locks, salmon leaping upstream. Jordan mused, that door creak? Best plot twist. Riley nodded, changed the narrative. In their eyes, our collective gaze. The value gleamed. Humanity in the hook, grace in the gut punch, love's arc eternal. Spring's symphony swelled into full crescendo, cherry petals confettiing the streets as our newlywed lives harmonized in unexpected keys. Jordan's curator role anchored him, days curating exhibits on marginalized makers, evenings critiquing Kai's latest chapbook drafts over craft brews. Their apartment hunt yielded a Fremont walk-up, fairy lights strung like promises, housewarming a potluck of memories. Mom's lemon bars, Dad's smoked salmon, his first visit post-wedding, navigating the space with gruff charm. Cozy, he grunted. But his tour of Jordan's studio wall, pieces from our shared saga, drew a rare smile. You've built something, son. Riley and I settled into marital mundane. Grocery lists monogrammed, mornings with coffee and crosswords, his cafe's third outpost a gleam in the ledger. Arc Collective partnered with Jordan's gallery. Joint events blending design and display, queer creators converging in electric synergy. One collab, Threads of Us. Installations weaving personal tapestries. My logos etched in fiber, Jordan's charcoals digitized, Kai's words embroidered. Opening night thrummed, patrons tracing stories, tears and toasts mingling. But growth's green shoots demand weeding. Kai's publisher pushed a national tour. 6 months, coasts crisscrossed. Excitement tempered by ache. Hate leaving you, he confessed to Jordan over dawn pancakes, voice thick. Jordan's resolve. Go conquer. I'll hold the fort, and video dates. Logistics layered. Sublets, care packages of inside jokes. Departure day at the gate. Kiss lingering, Jordan's whisper. Write the world for me. Kai's flight lifted, and the apartment echoed, Jordan channeling into a solo series. Absences, voids filled with longings lines. Riley and I filled voids too. Surprise trip to Napa. Vines heavy with possibility. Tastings loosening tongues on future kids. Adoption dreams, surrogate musings. A little us, Riley mused, hand on my belly in jest, but the seed rooted. Talks turning to agencies, profiles drafted. Jordan's solitude surfaced subtly. Late nights at the gallery, returns hollow. One eve, post-closing, he crashed our dinner. Eyes shadowed. Miss him. Stupid, right? Vulnerability, the old companion. We listened over stir-fry. Riley's It's Love's tax landing soft. Jordan's counter. But worth it. Inspiration struck. A care chain. Daily sketches mailed to Kai. Verses returned. Bridging miles with mail. Summer solstice marked halfway. Virtual tour stop. Jordan guest reading Kai's work. Voice steady over Zoom. Crowd enwrapped. Dad tuned in. Postscript. Heard the boy. Talent runs deep. Progress paternal and profound. Return flight landed amid monsoon rains. Kai drenched at arrivals. Jordan's dash through terminals cinematic. Reunion. Airport kiss rain slicked. Homeward blur of unpacked longing. Tour tales tumbled. Sold out readings. Chance connections. A queer youth group inspired. Chapbook reprints ordered. Brought stories home, Kai said, and Jordan's art bloomed anew. Collaborations reignited. Absences alchemized to abundance. Fall's palette deepened resolve. Adoption process initiated home studies, essays on why us, nerves electric. Jordan and Kai mirrored. Talks of fostering. Someday family. Holidays fused. Thanksgiving fusion. Mom's turkey. Riley's adobo. Kai's lumpia. Dad's pie. Baked solo. Lopsided but loved. Table talk flowed free. Wedding recaps. Tour highs. Baby brainstorms. Dad's toast. To Thompsons and Hayeses, all one now. Winter's hush brought bounty. Approval letter for us. Matching pool vast. First meet scheduled. Jordan's exhibit solo. Echoes. Reactions to acts. Our origin myth central. Critics raved. A testament to kin remade. Opening. Full house. Mom beaming. Dad mingling awkward but earnest. Spring circled back. Petals renewed. First placement call. Toddler boy. Wide-eyed wonder Eli. Joining our fold tentative but true. Jordan met him parkside. Uncle instincts blooming. Hey, little explorer. Family picnics ensued. Eli's giggles. Kai's lullabies. Roots entangling. Years layered like patina. Eli's first steps in our living room. Jordan's directorship promotion. Kai's TEDx talk on verse as salve. Dad's visits regularized. Fishing with Eli, stories spun grand. Mom's grandkids spoiling relentless. 1 anniversary. 5 for us, 3 for them, rooftop redux. Vows renewed under needle's gaze. Jordan's toast. To the creek that cracked us open. Laughter. Tears. Stars witnessing. In Eli's sleepy hug, Riley's steady gaze, Jordan's fraternal wink. The value crystallized. Humanity's hook in vulnerability. Drama's dance to dignity. Love's legacy. Caught. Changed. Cherished forever.